Hello friends, now let us discuss related with Python Django website creation. So let us create a Hello World project using Python Django. Python is very popular language right now, and we can develop the web interface using Python Django. So let us start with building the Python Django website. So for the same, I would like to recommend you the particular W3 Schools website. So W3 Schools websites are having the complete tutorial about the Python Django. So we will go with the step-by-step tutorials. So first thing is you need to install the Python. For the same, you need to search for the Python, download. You need to go to this particular website, the Python. You need to use the download option and you need to install Python on your PC. This is the step number 1. You have to do it. Once you complete the step number 1, you can go ahead with a Python creation of the virtual environment. So now let us go to the tutorial. For the same, these are the Python tutorial. So let us go to the next point. This is the basic fundamental about the Python, the Django. Why we are using the Django and what is the benefit of using Django. All the details are over here. So you can read out these particular theoretical parts. I am not discussing theoretical part right now. I am just implementing practical of Python Django projects. So basically it is using MVT, that is the model, view and template. And finally we need to use the URLs to set up the URL. So let us go ahead with the next steps. So first thing is we need to check our Python versions. Then we need to create a virtual environment. So for creating the virtual environment, we need to execute this command. So we can create that particular virtual environment on some particular folder. So for the same, we need to press the Windows R and we need to write down the CMD. So command prompt will be open. So now let me go to the H drive. Here I am going to the Python program. Here I will create one folder, the Django 3. I will go to that particular folder. Let me put the let me execute the dir command. So it is saying the blank. So there is nothing inside that particular Django folder. So now I will execute all the commands over here. Make sure do not use any kind of space in this particular folder structure. So now let me go to this particular. Now I need to use this particular command to create the virtual environment. So this is our step number 1. Python installation is done. Now we need to create the virtual environment. Virtual environment creation command is this, like py -m venv my world. So my world environment will be created. So let me copy this command. Let me paste it. But it is saying that py command is not recognized. So we can use the next command, that is the Python command. We can use the Python command. So let me use the Python command. Now command is executing. Wait for a while. It will create the virtual environment for me. Virtual environment is something, some of the structures. Inside that particular structure we are supposed to use the Django. So first we need to create the virtual environment. So I have already executed the command. It will create the virtual environment shortly. Let us wait for a while. Yes, now my virtual environment is created. Second step, these many folders are already created. Now I need to go to this particular virtual environment. I need to use that virtual environment. For the same, we need to execute this command because batch file is already created over there. So let me copy paste this command. Now you can see the things. My world is over here on the left hand side. So I am using the virtual environment right now. So now my virtual environment creation portion is done. Now second step, I need to use the install Django command to install the Django. So let us go to the next point. So now I need to use this particular command, install Django. So this is the command, Python -m pip install Django. So let me copy this command. Let me press enter. So now it will download the Django library from server and it will put it into my current folder. So using pip command, I am downloading this particular Django. Now you can see the things. The Django library is downloading from server to my folder. So once I install the Django, I can go ahead with the next steps. Here Python pip command is used. So basically pip command is to download some of the library from server. So whenever you have discussed regarding the Python, this is already explained over that. So now my Django is installed onto the particular folders. Now what we are supposed to do? We are supposed to, suppose you want to check the Django admin version, so you can use this command to check out this particular versions, whether that is installed or not. So you can use this one and you will find some of the version value will be there. So that means it is installed successfully. So now next thing is to create the project. So we have done with environment, we have done with the Django installation. Now we need to create a project. So for creation of the project, we need to use this particular command. So my project, my tennis club will be created. So let me copy this command. Let me execute into the DOS prompt. Django admin start project my tennis club. It will create the my tennis club folder. So now my tennis club folder will be structured something like this. So now we need to run the server. For the same, we need to go to the my tennis club. So let me first use the dir command. So here is the my tennis club, cd my tennis club, enter. Now I need to execute the command py space manage.py and run server, but py is not executed, so Python I will use Python space manage.py run server. It will start my server. So now you can see the things. My server is running at 127.0.0.1.8,000. So let me go to the browser. Let me write down 127.0.0.1.8,000. Now you can see the things. My Django homepage is readily available. So you need to follow these many steps to create a projects in the particular Python Django. So these many steps I have discussed practically. So this is the project creation is there. Now let us go ahead with the create applications. Now we need to create the applications. So I am pressing the next button. So now what is the applications? Inside the one project we can create the multiple applications. So here we are supposed to create a one applications. So I am creating the applications that is named as a members. So let me press Ctrl C. Previously I have executed this particular command. That was a start project command. Now I am using the start app command, start app members. So let me remove this command. Let me copy paste this particular command. This will create the application. Application is something built on your project. So let me press the enter, but py command is not executing, so I need to change to Python space manage.py startup app. So now my startup app members is created. So these many folder structures will be there. So now we need to create a view. So now we can create the view, but for the same we need to use the VS Code to open this particular folder structure, and then we can able to update the file. So now let me open this particular folder into my VS Code. So let me open the VS Code. Let me close the folder, whatever the folder I open, that I am going to close it. Let me use the open folder. Let me go to the H drive. Let me go to the Python. Let me go to the Django 3. I will open this folder. Let me click on select folder. On left hand side my tennis club is there and my world is there. So my tennis club is my basically folder that that is the maximum used folder, and my world is specifically environment. So we are not just going to utilize the my world folder, but this my tennis club we are going to utilize. Inside the my tennis club we have created the members also. So members is our application, so that recently we have created. So now what we are supposed to do, we are supposed to create a view. For the view creations, what is the steps? We need to go to the my tennis club members and view.py. So let us go to the my tennis club. Inside the my tennis club we need to go to the members. Inside the members we need to go to the particular view.py. So in a view.py we are supposed to create a view. So let me copy this code, let me add it over here. So by using this way we can create a view. So here members is the view name, so you can write down any view name, whatever the view name. For example, suppose you want to make a home page, so you can write down home. Here you can write down the message like a home page. Then you can write down something like a, let's say, about page. So we can create another view, let's say about. So about us page. Later on we will use the HTML also. Let me save the file. So now my view creation is done. So I can create the view. Now we need to set up the URLs. So for URL setups, what we are supposed to do, we need to go to the my tennis club members and URL file. So my tennis club members and URL file, but there is no URL files over here. So we are supposed to create urls.py. So we need to create that URL files. So here is a sample code for us. So here instead of members we can write down our page URL. For example, suppose there is a home page, so we can write down home, and here we can link with a home, and this is not required right now, so I am removing temporary. Another URL, suppose I want to edit, then I can copy paste this one. So here is another about page is there, so I can write down about. So now I have set up the two URLs. So this is the URL, the setup is done. Now we need to go to the my tennis club and my tennis club, and here is a URL file. So that is a global URL file. Inside the global URL file we need to use the members.url. So whatever the applications we have built, that URL we need to add it into this particular URL file. So that is already there. So let us go to the my tennis club. Inside the my tennis club, so here is a URL file that is already there. In that URL file we are supposed to include whatever the URL that we have created inside the members, that we need to edit over here. So in a URL pattern we need to write down this line. So basically this line is including members.urls, but for the same include function we need to import it. So that is import is available over here. So this is the library, we need to include it. So I am using the include option over here. So members.url, that means this URL. So this URL will be appended over here into our Django projects. So now we are supposed to run that particular server. So for this running the server we need to go to the DOS prompt. Let me copy this command. Let me execute. I will change it to Python manage.py run server. So now it is running, server is running fine. So let me go to the browser. Let me write down /home. Now you can see the thing home page is available over here. Suppose I am writing about, then you can see the about us pages is available over here. So what I have did so far, I have created first virtual environment, then Django installation is there, then creation of the project is there, creation of the application is there. Now I have created a view and URL. So two files I have created. So this is my view file. Inside the view file you are supposed to add the definitions like this: definition home, definition about, definition service. All the views you need to create it. Then you need to go to the URL page. You need to specify all the URL over here. Home URL is there, about URL is there, service URL is there. Then you need to link with this particular view. Then after, whatever the URL you have written over here, that you need to include into the my tennis club URL file using this include statement. So that URL will be available over the project. So this is the URL binding, this is the URL binding, and this is the view creations. So these many things we have discussed in this particular video. Hope it is clear. If any queries, questions are there, you are supposed to write down the queries or question into the comment. I will discuss that queries or questions onto the next video. Thank you very much for joining online and offline.